By the end of this episode, you will have learnt 3 time management hacks that will help your team be more consistent in sales to increase your close rates. Welcome to Sales Process Made Easy, the show helping 7 to 8 figure industry, construction and trade, sales and business leaders finally end the stress of inconsistent sales by simplifying your sales systems so your team can close more deals and grow faster. I'm your host, Ben Wright, a leader who has been building businesses and sales teams just like you for the last 20 years. By the end of this episode, we will have gone through the importance of predictable sales team calendars, how to leverage power hours into your weekly repertoires, and why CRMs have become important not just for recording customer data, but keeping your sales team on track. Time management is a topic that is spoken about relentlessly. And across the hundreds of leaders I've worked with and thousands of salespeople I've worked with over the last 25 years, it's rare that I meet either a leader or a sales professional that says they are impeccable with their time management. At the same time, I unfortunately find that time management becomes a beast for teams to want to improve. And when they do training on it, they find that they really struggle to implement effectively the outcomes that come from it. Now, unfortunately, time management is really important. If we get it wrong and our teams are not focused on what is important, we will often end up with sales experiences that just don't land for our customers. Follow-ups being slow, key pieces of information being forgotten, customers not being engaged in the times that suit for them rather than those that suit for us as a business. Really methodical follow-up that just doesn't generate excitement and emotional connection from customers. So getting time management right is really important, but I certainly recognise that it can be difficult to change habits that are ingrained into people for so long. Now, James Clear is a great authority on this around atomic habits. He talks a lot around making habit change obvious, attractive, easy and satisfying. And I'm going to very loosely follow some of those approaches from James Clear today. I'm certainly a huge advocate of his 1% Better framework. But when we think about the lessons from Ford Motor Company that we profiled on Wednesday in episode 150, one of the pieces that came out of it was how do we streamline our sales process to make sure that we're delivering that excellent customer experience. Okay, so there's 3 areas that I'd love you to think about out of today. Number 1 is calendars. Using calendars for your sales teams as a non-negotiable way to be constructing their days. Focusing on when and how we meet. We have a very effective 4 ways of meeting framework. You can download it at strongersalesteams.com/resources. It is the best meeting frameworks that I have ever worked with across my 25-year career. But above that, what we need to be doing is making sure that our teams are using their calendars to diarise the important repeat events of their days and their weeks. Right. What happens, unfortunately, is that when we don't do that, what's urgent and noisy rather than necessarily what's important tends to get prioritised. Right. And for salespeople, right, of course, we need to be responding to customers with those urgent requests. But if we are not focusing on our pipeline and moving it forward, right, continuously stepping deals forward, then we end up with a very weak future pipeline, right? And I say to salespeople that future Ben would be very annoyed with current Ben if we're not able to do that. So they're the types of important tasks, i.e. customer follow-up, that often get missed when urgency prevails. So setting into your calendars specific events across the week is the most important aspect of time management that I see move the dial with teams. The second most important is setting up power hours within calendars. So these are dedicated times for either prospecting and or deal follow-ups. Where I see teams use this really effectively is generally 3 lots of 3. So 3 days a week, a 3-hour power block in each day where they focus solely on lead generation or working the active pipeline. I'll often see teams do 1 day, which is focused on prospecting, and another 2 days focus on their existing pipelines. Or sometimes I'll see teams do prospecting for the first hour and then focus on their existing pipelines for hours 2 and 3. But what is really impactful and for me unequivocal in high-performing teams is that they are diarising power hours into their calendar each week. The third part of being more consistent in sales and thinking about that Ford Motor Company lessons around optimising your processes is making the CRM non-negotiable. I hear a lot of sales leaders say, yes, we've got a CRM, yes, we use it, but I very rarely hear them say, it's non-negotiable. And the most impactful, non-negotiable part of a CRM that I can recommend you think about is using tasks to manage workflows. And that simply comes down to, if you have an open deal, it must have a task associated with it. So that any time a sales leader jumps into a deal, we can see what the next steps are scheduled for the team member. So here, in essence, what we're actually doing is combining all 3 time management hacks into one smooth flow. We're using our calendars to include what's important, but of great importance there is power hours are being scheduled in, and the CRM is dictating where our focus in those power hours come from. So our calendar is our vehicle, the power hour is the focus time, and the CRM are all the details that we need to be rolling into that focus time. Super impactful, quite easy to roll out. Now, of course, there's some behavioural change needed there, so making it attractive, i.e. finding ways to really encourage the team to do it, can be something that I'd suggest you think about. But I think the most important part here is that when we have our time managed through calendars into power hours and using the CRMs to task guiding what we focus on, it can be really satisfying because teams do close more deals, they are more consistent in their sales processes, and in general, they come to work with less uncertainty, but more structure and clarity in how they need to approach their days. So they're the 3 key takeaways from today. For effective time management, focusing on sales team calendars, power hours, and the use of the CRM. If you're taking a call to action out of today, the key focus I'd be recommending is to be setting up, first of all, your power hours in your calendar, 3 lots of 3. Start 2 weeks in advance to allow teams to have their calendars clear out so there's no immediate pressure. You might even start with 2 lots of 3 hours for the first couple of weeks and then build into 3, but certainly schedule it 2 weeks down the track, build your power hours in, all right, and start the teams using tasks in your CRM. This may mean clearing out all your old tasks, but if your calls to action can be power hours into your calendar and tasks being used by the team, that's perfect. Now, we're really grateful for everyone listening. Thank you. It's 25 years of sales experience that we love sharing. We're dropping episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, ready for you when you start your working day. A focus between each of our episodes for you and your teams is around how you can be 1% better each and every day, because without question, it does make an impact. Bye for now. Are you struggling to grow your monthly sales numbers? Feel like you've reached a sales ceiling, are involved in every deal, or have no real sales system in place to help you grow? And is that causing a level of worry or stress about how you can get more sales in the future? If that's you, that's exactly why we created the Sold Out Sales Teams program, to help you get month-on-month sales growth with less stress. In just the first week, we will lock down your quoting process to grow sales by 25 to 30%. And that's just week 1. And for the first 3 podcast listeners that we speak to this week, we'll offer you a bonus one-on-one strategy session with me to make sure you can pay off your investment even faster, which, by the way, for most businesses is only 1 or 2 extra sales. To book in, click the link in our show notes. It's a direct calendar link so you can instantly confirm your meeting time.